everybody, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to play the Conquerors 3. The Conquerors 3 is a real-time strategy game that's on Roblox where you will strive to defeat the other opponent and take over the entire world, while gaining money, gaining troops, and becoming the strongest opponent and destroying your enemy. As soon as you launch the game, you'll be put into the main menu. There's many different rooms you can join, but generally room 1 is the one that most people will join. There's a store if you want to get skins for anything, but that I'll show later. There's a chat, but none of that really matters. There's 6 people max in room 1, which is generally what you're going to be joining because there's the most players in room 1. So you're just want to join and wait until this entire thing fills up. After it fully fills up, then the room will start loading into the game. When you load into the game, you will see all your other opponents. Now this isn't quite the game yet. As soon as it loads, then you'll be chosen between maps. There's different modes and different ways to play on each and every map, and you can choose between either 1v1v1v1, 2v2v2v2, or 3v3v3v3, or 3v3. And yeah, so it'll fully load up and you'll be put up with a selection of 4 different things that you can click on. The ones with the water, you will need boats for. There's different like ups and downs to different maps depending on what they are. But you're usually gonna want the map where you can get the most amount of money. As soon as you choose your map, there's gonna be Alliance 1 and 2. Alliance 1 and 2 will be just your team overall. So because this map that we have chosen, there's 2 teams of 3 each, then right here it'll say vote for your alliance, and you'll get put with a random team. So as soon as you learn of the game, it might be a little confusing. So you first want to look up at the top right, and you can see what color you are. So as you can see, I'm black. So what you want to do is hold down and highlight all your troops, and you want to move them over. This is your command center. Your command center is what is the main part of your base. It'll defend you against enemies, and you can garrison troops inside. So what you're going to want to do is take one or many of your soldiers, Scout being the fastest soldier, and bring it to these little green like power plant areas. After you do that, you want to click create buildings, and then there's a bunch of different buildings. Right now, the only thing you're going to want to be worrying about is nuclear plant or power plant. You can read what they're about. Power plant is cheaper, but gives you 10 cash every minute. And nuclear plant is more expensive, but gives you 15 cash per minute. So what you're going to do is click on it and place it. And when you're placing something, it might say something like required to be near an energy crystal or required to be near a unit or building. So these are units. Your players are units. So what you're going to want to do is just expand as quick as you can. Now, the best way that a lot of people play this game is offensive. Right at the start of the game, you're going to want to go straight to the offense. And the quicker that you can compromise your opponent is the quicker your victory will be. So after you do that, you're going to want to grab your construction soldier. Now, if it is a map with water, then the construction soldier is perfect. It is not a map for water, then you can keep your construction soldier for later. So what you're going to want to do is bring your construction soldier up to a water area and click construct. This will be used as basically a building. So you can place anything beside a building. So now if I tried to place, let's say, a building, and I bring my unit, which is my like movement player, and I bring this is a building, then now I can place something like a research center. Now you don't want to do that, but that's just for showing you like how that works. So what you want to do after that is you can either build a naval shipyard, or your teammate might build a naval shipyard. If your teammate builds a naval shipyard, your stuff is communal, so everyone can use the same thing. So this is a naval shipyard, so we can produce ships out of this, so water ships. So what you want to do, if you're going to be aggressive, the first thing you're going to want to do is get a transport ship. Once you get your transport ship, you want to go get as much income as you can. For the most aggressive strategy, you're going to want to straight target their main areas and compromise their money system. But if you're playing more so defensive, which is still a good strategy, and I've ran into many people that have beat me using defensive strategies, then you'll want to get oil ships and bring them to these little black puddles, which I'll show more on later. But if you're playing aggressive, then you're going to want to hold down control and then click with your little ship and just move it all the way around to the enemy side. Now this is an extremely aggressive strategy, and the way it works is basically attacking someone so close to their base that you're always going to have troops to fight them back, all the way till the very end where you can attack their main base. The strategy does not always work, but if you can get your teammates in on it, then it works even better. Now, as you can see, this guy knows exactly what we're doing. So he's bringing a hovercraft. Now, he can use this hovercraft to place nuclear plants or defend against other people. But what we're going to do is we're going to fight him. So if his hovercraft is gone by the time we get here, we are going to place a nuclear plant and make this area ours. While our ship is transporting, it transports on its own after you set the direct path by clicking C to deselect all. So after you do that, then you have a bit of free time until your stuff gets there. So a good thing to do in your free time is to try to expand your money as best as you can. So the best way for a water map is mostly oil ships and nuclear plants. You're going to want to expend as much money as you can. And when they're built, like we have an oil ship right here, then you just want to highlight it and bring it over to one of these black puddles. And when it gets here, you want to click N to make it an oil rig. And as soon as it gets here, you want to make it an oil rig. And there, now you're making extra money. I believe it's only 10 extra that you make, but that is still quite a bit. So as you can see over here, our transport ship has made it. So we're going to ungarrison our troops. And now, as you can see, we're getting attacked. So how we're going to do this is we're going to want to attack his hovercraft first. His hovercraft is the thing that's doing damage to us. And if we can take care of it, then we won't be worried about damage. And we can just target his actual money first. And then we can turn this area into our very own base. Now, you want to make sure that your troops are always attacking it. People will try to lure your troops into attack other things, such as their nuclear plant, so you can distract the fire. So by distracting the fire, then you won't shoot, then they'll shoot at the nuclear plant, which has way more health than the hovercraft, which is doing the real damage at the moment. Now, people will try to do whatever they can to make sure that you don't win. So what you want to do is, as soon as you can, you want to build a nuclear plant or a power plant. You want to build your own money system. Now you're making your very own money. Now, he tried to trick me here by making me attack, but I'm not going to fall for that trick. So we're just going to bring our guys right back and continue attacking his hovercraft. And when we destroy his hovercraft, it'll summon 2 light soldiers, but because we have a way stronger army, we should be able to take them out easily. Now that we're here, we're attacking him, and now we also have a money system here. Now about is the good time to talk to your teammates. So this is a good time to talk to your teammates and let them know what's going on if you need help. Now, we're actually losing this battle. It's not going amazing for us, and his light soldiers are destroying us. Now, the 3 main steps to this game is to first begin, expand. You want to expand as quick as you can, like the snap of a finger. You want to have your stuff built up easily, ready to go. And then the next part is to gain resources. You want to go to all these little green crystals, and you want to get as much money as you can. And after you get money, you just want to attack. So you want to get money and build a huge army. Now, ways to make huge armies is when you click Z, you're going to see multiple different like attack things. So there's going to be barracks. So as you can see up here, this is your limit count for how many soldiers you can add. So Well, if you have a soldier, then you can have 10 soldiers max. You can have 7 boats, and I believe 7 airplanes too. Now, you will have these little things. So, barracks produces soldiers. Pretty self-explanatory. You can create heavy soldiers. You can create all types of soldiers to take out the enemy. Naval shipyard produces ships. So we have one over here. So I can. Oh, we don't. Naval shipyard produces ships. So you can create battleships, hovercrafts, gunboats, oil ships, transport ships, all that stuff. Tank factories are really good. They build tanks. So I'll build one over here. And when you build a tank, there will be 4 different tanks: anti-air tank, explosive tank, heavy tank, and light tank. Now, a lot of people get confused about explosive tank. The explosive tank is a tank that will run into its enemy and explode. And when it runs into its enemy, it'll do tons of damage, but it will explode. And whatever it hit with its explosive will explode, but it'll also sacrifice the life of the own tank itself. So this is what a tank factory looks like. Next up, we're gonna look at airport. The airport produces planes, so transport planes, heavy planes, light planes, all the different types of planes that you can think of. These types of planes will help you a lot in combat, especially over the air. You can transport them faster over water than you can boats. And they're overall cheaper, and they're strong for attacking enemies. So that's all types of basic stuff that you can get just from the menu here. But you can get lots of other stuff using research centers. Now, I'm not going to go too much into depth about research centers right now, because research centers have a lot to go with them. But I'll quickly overview in a sec when it's done building. So these are your 4 basic ways of attacking people, just straight off the bat. And that's your 4 basic ways. Now, these four are plane houses, so you can easily read. So they bring up your capacity, so you can hold more soldiers, more tanks, more planes, all that type of stuff. And it's pretty self-explanatory. So if I were to build a tank house, then my tank capacity will move from 7 to 8. And you can increase the amount of tanks that you can have using here. This is research. I'll go more in depth with that. So that's all the houses. Don't get houses mixed up. I always had an issue with getting houses, plane houses, mixed up with actual airports, or naval houses mixed up with naval shipyards. Don't get them mixed up. They're 2 different things, and be careful. Next up, we got the 2 income things. So these are both your ways of getting money. So you'll want to use these to get we already showed that. You place them to get money. Headquarters. Now the headquarters is exactly what we got. So the headquarters are a little different than the command centers. They're 2 different things. So the command centers is basically like a building. Sort of like it's kind of like it holds troops, it can hold troops, and it shoots lasers at the top. And it's kind of like the construction yard, but way more expensive. Usually when you start a new base, such as if I were to go off the offensive and bring a huge army to an enemy, then I later on in the game, I might want to place a command center or headquarters. So then I can have just a basic base defense, especially for organization. They're really good, and they shoot strong lasers at enemies and can also garrison soldiers or tanks. Anti-air turrets, pretty self-explanatory. They're fairly cheap. You can just place them like that, and they'll just shoot planes out of the air. So as you can see, they look pretty nice. They look pretty cool. And when a plane comes, they'll just shoot little lasers at it. Same goes for the normal turret. Turrets are really good if you're going on the offensive, because you're going to want to place lots of turrets in areas where enemies can't get you. So now those are the 2 types of turrets. Fort is sort of like the same as headquarters and a command center, except you can get some troops out of it, such as juggernauts, artillery, and soldiers, or like transportation trucks for soldiers. These are just, some people like them. I don't normally use these types of soldiers, but you do need to research them if you want to use them. The shield generator is a base defense as well. It will protect you against it's really good. No matter what base you have, you always want one of these. It'll protect you against nukes. It'll protect you against everything. Here is water mines. They will explode when a ship touches them, and landmines will explode when a unit touches them. I don't recommend these two too much. I don't use them much, and they're not too strong themselves, but they're alright. You can place lots of them. I think I just spent a bunch of money on these, and just when an enemy touches them, they'll go boom. So that's all these basic ones. Now we'll quickly go over research, and that'll be basically it for this video. So research works pretty simply. So there'll be different things you can research later on. So you can research stealth bomber units. So stealth bomber units will be in the plane in the airport, and they'll just have little planes, and they're just a different type of plane. Juggernaut unit comes in the fort, submarines, walls, artillery unit, and this is how you upgrade your tank cap boost. So if you place a tank house and you only get one extra soldier, that's not too good. So you can upgrade it here by clicking in the research tab. And then later you'll be able to hold 9 tanks. Space Link is a more way, it uses spaceships. So they're really strong, and these spaceships will fly, and they're basically just planes but stronger. Nuclear silos, these are late game, but if you can get one of them, you'll usually dominate your opponent. They shoot nukes. They cost 650 just to build one nuke, and 300 to build a nuke, 675 to build the nuclear silo itself, plus an extra 100 to research the nuke. So for this, I recommend having at least 250 cash per minute, which you can see down here. Humvee unit is just another way of transport. And then that's basically it. Diplomacy is for certain types of games. You don't need to worry about it too much where you choose your teams at the very beginning. But diplomacy is for when it's like 1v1v1, you can form small alliances with your teammates and stuff like that. And that's about it. So people will leave the game. It's a Roblox game. You just gotta deal with it. Your opponents will sometimes leave, your teammates will sometimes leave. And if you want to be a good teammate, donate your money when you leave. But yeah, that's basically the end of the game. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section. I'll be happy to explain. And yeah, that's all for today's video. And thank you everyone, and goodbye.